No, I would prefer to start with something positive, which is not positive, but the tribute we gave Matt Beard was, I think, of Liverpool standards. So how the fans always do this is something what it makes me proud to represent this club. How we always find a way to be so respectful for people that have done so much for our club. So and then we go immediately, because of your question, to the last minutes of the game, where Hugo got a second yellow card. That is, what were your two words?
Did you think it was needless? Did you think it was...
That was needless, yes, and?
Did you think it was a bit stupid?
And it was stupid, yeah, it was. So I can, in the first one, was already needless and to a certain extent stupid, because you have to control your emotions. And I know how hard it is if you play Premier League or every league in the world. If you're number 9, then the defender can almost do everything he wants. And then when you shirt pull a little bit or you push him a little bit, then you get a free kick against you. But it's always the best to control your emotions. And if you cannot control your emotions, do it a way that it doesn't lead to a yellow card. So I think I said when I got my red card against Everton, that's always stupid, because it is you can show your emotions, but if it leads to a yellow or red card, then it's stupid, and that's what happened in the first yellow. And then I told him as well, and I said it to numerous media already. If you score in the Champions League final in the 87th minute after outplaying 3 players and hitting it in the top corner, I can maybe understand that you say like, this is all about me, what did I do? But I'm old-fashioned, I'm 47 and old maybe, and I haven't played on this level, but I did score a few goals, and if I would have scored a goal like this, I would have turned around and walked up to, in this situation, Federico Chiesa and say, this goal is all about you. This is not about me. So yeah. Needless, not smart. You call it stupid. I call it stupid.
Well done. Well, a Liverpool win and first goal for Liverpool. Sum up your night.
No, amazing. It was good to get back out there. Score my first goal here at Anfield, and
how's Leone?
the win as well. So it was a good night.
Was there a sense of relief after the first 40 seconds or so when you might have scored?
Because
of course,
for him it didn't feel good immediately, but this is something now we have to.
As part of being striker, you miss some and you score some. And I think the most important is to shake it off and be ready for the next one.
And
you did that. What does it mean? I mean, you must think a lot about that first goal, getting that first goal. So seeing it
arrive. See how he comes in, and then
I just try
maybe
to
do
play
an
my
MRI
game,
scan to know more about how serious it is.
I feel confident in myself, that
normally
work out, and
the emotions of a player tell you a lot. That's my mindset. I saw during the weekend a player in the Dutch Eredivisie.
Well, you're working on your fitness, I know, but are you fit and ready to go from the start on Saturday? Because it looks like you might be needed.
I
feel good. I feel good. I think with every game I play,
and a day later it proved to be that he was right. But let's hope for the best.
Better shape.
It's not a show.
Just getting more and more ready.
How close are you to 100%?
It's difficult to say. I think it's a mixture of fitness-wise and also football-wise. But I feel good. I feel like I'm in a shape to at least make a difference.
I think what you want to see.
It's a shame for Hugo,
so I can accept completely
winner,
that a team that plays the first time together are players that haven't played for a long time.
I'm sure
that they don't play as a team perfect, but what I always want to see is players that try and work hard. So I said at half time, for me it's completely not a coincidence
so when you score a goal,
that Federico picked the ball
just in that moment,
and assisted on the first, because he was the one, in my opinion, that was most involved in the game, tried the most, worked the hardest. And then it wasn't a coincidence again that he was the man that made a deep run. Great ball by Robbo, by the way, who also has won so much at this club and also understands how to play this game. Not underestimated, just always be ready to play. And that's also the way to get yourself either back in the team or get as much playing minutes as you want. That's why I was happy with a few individual performances, but far from happy from a few other individual performances.
Can you elaborate on who you were talking about?
No, but I think these players, who I mean, I think they know already.
Alexander to get that first goal.
Yeah, it's nice because it's only 6 or 7 days ago when he made his debut. I just asked, was it 2 weeks ago that we played Burnley? He said, no, it's only 1 week ago. So time goes so fast that sometimes you don't understand how long it took. But we got him not in the best circumstances in terms of match fitness. So we have to build it up. And the downside to that is that you cannot play a player 90 minutes. And if you only play him 45 or 30, or again like today, 45, it might then normally take a while before he scores his first goal. Because we can all understand, if you play a player 3 times 90, it's a bigger chance that he scores a goal than when you play him 45, 30, 45. And he's the record, British record signing. And there's hardly anyone talks about this, so maybe it's smart for me to talk about this. So there will be then pressure on if it takes a while before he scores a goal, because he's the record British signing. No one says this, so I repeat it. So yeah, I think the best moment to start to see where he is and how much he can help us. You can already see that he can help us, but the best when he comes back, hopefully from the Swedish national team, when he stayed fit, played there many minutes, plays for us in the upcoming weeks, a few minutes. Then I think after that, then his pre-season has ended and we can expect even more from him. But till now, I'm very happy with what I've seen from him.
Brilliant, thank you guys.
Looking now at Alexander Isak, he played 45 minutes, had 17 touches, obviously that one goal just before the first half finish and created one chance. Now he was told at half-time that he wouldn't go to the dressing room and had to do sprint instead of the GPS monitor. Nigel, is this just showing that he isn't fully fit yet?
The only thing you need to pay attention to for me, Hannah, is that one there that says goal. He's a striker. Grella will tell you, there's nothing more to a striker than getting that first goal, getting that monkey off the back, the weight, the expectation. He's going to grow with it. And when you look at the finish, it's a fantastic finish. It's a striker's finish. He knows exactly where the goal is. Goalkeeper tries to cheat, but that there is a cheeky near post. This is what an accomplished striker does. Look at the caress of the ball into that near post area. Some players will probably miss from that. That is the biggest moment and most important thing he did in the game today. We said it before we had discussions. He hasn't had a proper pre-season. So for me, it's no surprise he came off at half-time. He's still building fitness. Something that I've had to go through in my career, when you didn't have a pre-season and you go into a season, you've got this mentality as a player where you think you're invincible, you can get through it by playing games and getting fit. It doesn't work like that. When you play games and you don't have the foundation, you're more likely to break down. That is why professional players have to have a pre-season. Pre-season is to build that foundation to go the rest of the season. So for me, how they're handling Alexander Isak is credible to Liverpool. They're being smart behind it. There's a lot more science in the game. But probably Grella can add to it more than I can. Being a striker, you've got the selfishness of scoring goals. Scoring goals is the most important thing. And now he got his first Liverpool goal. It will take a weight off him, but he has to still be patient with his build-up. And that's all I pay attention to. He got his goal. Yeah. That's what's important. Continue to build his fitness.
Would they buy him for £130 million, you said? I mean, he's a £130 million asset. He's £130 million asset for Liverpool, right? So they have to ease him in. There's no reason to rush him. Ekitike is scoring goals, so there's no reason to rush him. They let him go. But Isak also, I want to say this, and obviously, listen, I don't have 8 eyes. I'm not some special creature where I can watch all the games at once.
A spider, yeah, a spider.
Does a spider have 8 eyes though?
They do now.
Yeah.
They do now. Hey, Sierra Leone spiders have 8 eyes.
Okay, all right, fine. But I'm not a spider. Couldn't watch all the games. But I will say this: Isak for me went for 130 million because he's not just a striker that pops up in this moment to score goals. He's the guy that like links play. He can go by guys 1v1. He can go out to the channel and has a bunch of quality in his delivery and his finishing. And he adds so much to the team. That's why they went for a player like him. And I'm not sure that so far, early days, that they're getting the best out of the best version of him. Yeah, okay.
It's still fit, Grella.
It's still early.
He's not fit.
He's not. I'm not. All right. Can I just say what I saw today or no?
No, go.
I'm just saying, like I know it is sometimes as simple as you're signed to score goals and you score your goals and that's it, you move on. But also there's another element to his game. He's one of the best strikers in the world because he doesn't just stay between the center backs and score goals. He can do everything. A little bit like Harry Kane, a little bit like these strikers that can come in and link, and he's smooth on the dribble and everything else. And I don't know if they're getting the best out of him yet. I'm sure they want to see more and they want to see it fast. But of course it takes time. That's why at halftime he had to run more. It was good to see that he got his goal. Federico Chiesa with 2 assists. So a lot of positives on the day, but still, I think there's a big room, a higher ceiling that they haven't reached.
I 100% agree with that part that you said about we haven't seen what's to come. We're getting a glimpse of what's to come with him scoring goals. His job, his number one job for Liverpool, is not the link-up play, in my opinion. You have players, you have the Florian Wirtz, you have Mohamed Salah, who will help with that. His sole job is to come in and score goals, and I applaud Arne Slot because other managers would maybe ease him in and not give him the start. And as we talked about the importance of the Carabao Cup, he took a gamble. He could have gotten injured. He didn't. And you talk, Nige, about managing minutes, the assets. He is a Rolls Royce of a footballer, and I love that they're using halftime to get him minutes. But I want to talk about other players. Ekitike. What a moment of madness for him. You do your job, getting the goal. But Nige, I mean, you're a captain in the locker room. What's the words you would have had with him after the match, knowing that the Palace match is coming up? You get your goal, and then you want to have your personal moment to shine, take the jersey off, and then show it to the crowd. It's stupid.
I'll just say, what were you thinking, lad? That's what you got to say. What were you thinking? I mean, it's a silly second booking. You should be very aware of your first booking. To already be booked in yellow card and then to take your shirt off, knowing the rules of the game, it's a moment of madness. I know sometimes as players we get caught up in the moment, the adrenaline and everything that goes on, but it's a real silly booking. You let your team down with everything that's going on. Obviously we saw Isak coming off. Now you put yourself in. I think Arne Slot's expression at the end of the game tells you a lot right now that he's very upset.
Yeah, taking a look now at the yellow cards, we can see when Ugo Ekitike received them. So the first one happened in the 52nd minute. Tell us why he got this, Grella. Why did he get a yellow card here?
That's a good question, Hannah.
That's why he got the yellow card. There you go.
I thought it was for the first grab, but okay. But then he volleyball punts it there, and then the second one he takes his
descent. And then obviously, probably the frustration for missing that first chance, and then this one there, it's just a moment of madness, lapse of concentration. And again, you talk about all the other players should have been, what are you doing? Players should have been running straight to him. As soon as he starts, pull your shirt back down. Moment of madness that it's hard to forgive that.
Because
he's not a child.
It's not even like it was a tackle. They could have been so easily prevented.
It's a little bit ironic, right, the moment, because he does something, you used the word personal before, but he does something, because he scores the goal and he does something out of a raw emotion and he's showing his jersey, right? But then it ends up actually hurting the team in the long run because
hurts him.
Maybe Isak is not ready to start in the next games or whatever. And also Ekitike is a weapon on his own. He's almost scoring a goal a game if you look up all competitions and the minutes that he's played. So to do that, it's not only just a moment of madness, it's a moment of, hey, this is about me, because he's showing his jersey. And so it's I'm sure he'll learn from it for sure, because at that level, when you're at a club like Liverpool, it's never about you. It's always about what's best for the club. And obviously what's best for the club in the next match is that he's there, and he won't be.
And they're tough, and it's a tough fixture, because they're going to play a Crystal Palace side. There's not going to be no rollover. They're going to be very hard to beat. And Ekitike started great at Liverpool so far, scoring goals, doing everything that we probably expect. He's probably exceeded expectations by most people for how he started, because Isak was the man. But to do that, like you said, to make it about yourself, pulling your it was just unnecessary. And it will probably make Arne sort of look at him to say, I don't know, I mean, I could trust you to a certain degree, but he'll have to start to reevaluate how much he can trust you as a player, because you've got the experience. There's no need after a silly booking. If you're going to get booked, I always say get booked for a tackle at least. Get booked for something that's worth it. But don't get booked for something like that, for petulance and dissent with a referee.
Also, you wonder
the ball away.
You wonder if there's frustration, right?
There absolutely is.
Obviously, when I played and they would sign, they'd sign a big player, right, for a lot of money, and obviously you're doing well. You don't want to come. You don't want to come off. You don't want to stop your flow. You're playing. You're scoring goals. You're doing well. And the writing's on the wall, right? They sign Isak because Isak is going to play in that position. Or sooner or later, Isak is going to play in that position. So maybe you've shown a little bit of frustration. I know as a player, you always think you're the best, right? You don't think anyone's better than you, and you work hard to get to that level. And then Isak comes in, and the whole story's about him. And you see a little bit of frustration. It's also possible, but it's not a good look at the end of the day.
And the thing I always respected about the managers I played for was their ability to manage a locker room. Liverpool, they're spoiled for riches, as you said, Nige. But now the question I have for Arne is how do you manage this? You have two strikers who are going to get you goals. Both of them want to play, and I love that you mentioned the frustration. I think you're bang on with that. That was a moment of frustration. It's a player who thinks he should be the guy, and up until late on in the transfer window, he was told he's the guy. This has elements of Darwin Núñez. A bit. A player who was bought in before to be the main man for Liverpool, feels a bit slighted, and then starts having, the misses aside, starts having moments of madness in his own personal life. But
I disagree with you on that one. I don't think it's the same as Darwin Núñez. I think that when Liverpool got Ekitike, I think that they would have had conversations to let him know that you may not be the only one. Because Liverpool are building for something great. That it's about competition, being competitive, and everyone has to earn the right to play. Everyone's going to have competition for places. Ekitike is also very versatile, where if they need to be, which I think is what probably will happen, is Isak will be the main striker, Ekitike will go on the left-hand side, and maybe Gakpo will be the one that has to sit on the bench or maybe come on. But I think there is a world where they both can play and start. Today was just a moment of madness.
Is there a world where Federico Chiesa doesn't make a name for himself and get back and get more minutes?
Chiesa was fantastic today, but obviously with them keeping him out of the Champions League squad, that tells you enough already with what he is. And he's been fantastic from how he started the season, but I just don't see him being a regular starter of one of the main names in there. He'll be a squad player, which is what they're going to use him to do. And he's done well. Guerrero talks about how he's come back from what he's come back from. But there is going to be a world where we will see Ekitike and Isak together on the same pitch. I think, like Grella said, made a great point, making it about yourself. When you take off your shirt and show your name, you're trying to tell the fans, this is me. And it was just the wrong moment at the wrong time for being too emotional. And you can't make it about you at the clubs like Liverpool.
But Nigel, there's always going to be friction, right? Yeah. You were a fantastic ball winner, right? But what about if the manager came in and said, "Hey, listen, we got another fantastic ball winner. We're just going to push you out to the. You're going to go out to the wing, and you're going to play as a left." It
wouldn't happen.
Is that his response tells you everything you need to know, right? It won't happen, right? There's pride, there's courage, there's bravery in that. And that's every human being, that's every player, right? They're not going to say, "Oh yeah, Isak's here, here's the red carpet, there you go." So players are human beings.
But there are human beings, because there is a point in my career where I was playing centre midfield and then another centre midfielder was brought in. Couldn't do what I do. But then because the manager trusted me, 100% couldn't do what I do.
See, but that's what I mean.
But I was moved to a different position. And that's when I started playing at right back. Then I played at right midfield. And my thing was, it was a manager had to accommodate and justify bringing someone else in. But it wasn't we were the same player.
But you took it personal.
I still played and I had to get on with it.
You took it personal.
But I didn't take it personal. I still enjoyed it and did it. It was the respect to the manager.
The disappointing thing with all this is Liverpool get the result, right? Both strikers score. And look at what we're talking about. Instead of
and also we're not making
we're not making stuff up. But look at what we're talking about instead of what we should be talking about. Chiesa, man of the match in my opinion, 2 assists, right? The disrespect and not feeling slighted, not making the Champions League squad. We should be talking about this. Leone, who I thought was good, hopefully he's not injured for a long time. We don't know what happens. Those 2 players are the best 2 players on the pitch for Liverpool.
The 2 Italians?
The 2 Italians. And yet, because Ekitike has this moment where he's like, I can't even take my jacket off because I'll rip it, has this moment where he's like, I'm the main man. Now we're talking about this. That discipline issue has to be sorted by Arne Slot. This is a small crack in the pavement.
Let's take it back.
What's been a good start to the season.
Let's take it back a step, right? Because I was one of the people who was very critical when we started this show, saying about Southampton, they're not taking it seriously, they're treating it like a day out in Anfield. We got to give them credit. They made 8 changes today, and they took Liverpool a long way. Liverpool were not fantastic. They got the job done. Let's just give it to that. Yes, Chiesa, 2 assists, good game. But Liverpool are not fantastic. The same thing we've seen of them at the start of the season, chemistry issues and how they're really gelling together, that was still evident today. So we can't give them all the credit like they absolutely dismiss Southampton. Southampton deserve more credit for the performance that they put into their Anfield than Liverpool do. I would say Liverpool got the job done. Isak scored. That is it. But I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it was a great performance by Liverpool.
And what's that say for the 9 changes in Southampton, or 8 or 9 changes in
for Southampton?
What's that say for the guys that play every single weekend in the Championship, which is their priority? That's like jobs up for grab there, the kind of performance from Southampton, because they were good for 90 minutes.
Every word Mikel Arteta said on Port Vale, the Madueke injury, Arsenal's bad luck, and Max Dauman. Mikel Arteta addressed the media ahead of Arsenal's midweek League Cup tie against Port Vale, and Football.London has all the highlights, including updates on injuries and squad changes. Following a frustrating draw with Manchester City that saw points slip away, Arteta's mind was firmly set on regrouping and returning to winning ways. Updates on Madueke, Hincapie, and Odegaard. On Noni Madueke's injury. Yes, unfortunately, he will be out for a few weeks. We'll have to scan him again next week to see the full extent. He felt something early in the match, tried to push on, but by half-time the pain had gotten worse, so we had to take him off. Is it weeks, not months? Yes, that's our hope. It doesn't look like it's terrible. We'll get better clarity once we have the scans. How is he handling it mentally? He was devastated. It's particularly disappointing because he'd been in great form, gaining consistency, becoming a real threat. Losing him is a big blow for us. On Piero Hincapie. He has picked up a minor groin issue. We'll assess him over the next few days. There was a shift in his training load, plus he didn't really enjoy a full pre-season due to timing. It's likely a short-term setback. Weeks or months? I'd lean toward a short absence, not months. On Kai Havertz. With Kai, it's more serious. We expect it to be months. I can't predict exact recovery timelines. He's unique, but he's progressing well, and we miss him a lot. I hope he returns for the long term. Coping with recurring injuries. Luck or something more? In light of the injuries piling up, not just this season but across recent ones, naturally the question came. Is it just bad luck, or is there a deeper issue? Arteta's take. We analyze everything. The Madueke injury, the Kai one, they're certainly unfortunate. With Martin Odegaard, for example, he hurt his shoulder twice doing the same action while falling. That's rare. Bukayo's issue is muscular. There may be deeper factors, so we're digging into every angle. Our aim is to minimize these occurrences as much as possible. This concern isn't new. Arteta has previously described prolonged injury crises as becoming an accident waiting to happen when a squad is pushed too hard over many matches. ESPN.com. +1. Port Vale match and squad rotation. Looking ahead to a cold night in Stoke with the League Cup match looming, Arteta was clear about his intentions. Many squad players deserve minutes, and Kepa is certainly among them. He's shown great attitude, supports the group fully, and has earned his chance. Was he surprised by external criticism labeling Arsenal as too cautious or playing with a handbrake on? Surprised? In football? Not really. I don't read everything. But if I hear a narrative that's far from what I see and believe, I'll reflect. We dominate matches, but control and dominance can be interpreted differently. I accept the criticism. I'll learn if there's something new to see. On giving younger players opportunities, particularly Max Dauman, Arteta was thoughtful and measured. Managing someone so young is a challenge. His life, schedule, training load, sleep, diet, all change. He needs balance. We try to integrate him gradually, exposure with youth sides and with the first team, so when he's called upon, he's ready. Asked how senior players react when a teenager like Max steps up and occasionally outmuscles them, he laughed. At first, there were jokes like kick him, but Max stood up, got back up, played on. You can't help but admire a kid who just turned 14 last year doing that. Now everyone loves him. He's a lovely person, and we have a duty to give him every chance to thrive. Miles, Bukayo and Gabriel, minutes, roles, and comebacks. On Miles. He faces natural competition. You can be in form, but others are playing well too. The moment he's given a chance, he must show his level. That's how you make decisions harder to resist. Will he remain as left back or shift into midfield? Fluidity is key. He attacks like a midfielder. But yes, he's shown he can do the left back role at the highest level, even in the Champions League. On Martin Odegaard's shoulder. No surgery required. His training now and should return in days, not weeks. On Bukayo Saka's return after a month out. He definitely needs minutes to get back into rhythm, regain confidence, repeat actions, feel sharp again. We'll reintroduce him gradually, but I liked what I saw when he came on last time. On Gabriel Martinelli's flexibility. Yes, we're considering using both him and others in more fluid ways. Gabriel has shown he can affect the game from wide or central positions depending on how the match unfolds. Closing thoughts on narrative and criticism. Returning to the handbrake narrative, Arteta was candid. When I see the statistics and how the team plays, I'm surprised by some of these takes. But I respect opinions. If I learn something new, I will. That's part of the process. Asked whether it irks him that critics often judge the style without fully understanding the approach, he replied, "No. I'm not surprised. I've never been surprised by criticism in football. What matters is that internally, we stay true to our principles, keep improving, and stay connected to the reality of how we see the game." The ripple effects, atmosphere, tactics, and expectations. Arteta's comments and the injury news have already rippled through the club, affecting preparations, morale, and public expectations. With a squad stretched by time and fitness concerns, every decision now carries more weight. Tactics under strain. Missing key contributors like Madueke, Hincapie, and Kai alters not just personnel, but how Arteta can approach each match. Defensive balance becomes more delicate without Hincapie's full fitness. He provides cover and recovery that allows fullbacks to push forward. Attacking fluidity suffers without Madueke's presence. He had become a winger who drifts inside, stretching defenses. Midfield control, especially in games where Arsenal must chase or protect leads, will hinge heavily on Odegaard's return and the depth behind him. Several backup players will now find themselves in the spotlight sooner than expected, and their performances in cup competitions or lesser matchups could shape how the rest of the season plays out. Squad morale and the young core. For younger players like Miles and Max Dauman, this season is a blessing hidden in challenge. The gap created by injuries may force earlier integration, giving them real stakes, high-pressure minutes, and experience they might not otherwise receive so soon. But the flip side is also true. Expectations will rise, mistakes will be spotlighted, and patience may run thin. Internally, the coaching staff is walking a tightrope, pushing youngsters to seize opportunity while shielding them from burnout or loss of confidence. Arteta's comments on managing sleep, diet, and match load suggest the club has recognized the physical and psychological demands at play. External pressure and media narratives. Arteta's acknowledgement of media narratives, particularly the handbrake line, signals how aware he is of public perception. The weekend draw against Manchester City became a flashpoint. Many analysts seized on Arsenal's cautious approach instead of their moments of control. That he would go on record responding shows how much the club wants to control not only matches, but the story surrounding them. Fans, too, have voiced divided opinions online, some praising depth and rotation, others demanding consistent starting lineups and high-risk attacking football. Social media threads are already scrutinizing each injury update, lineup change, and press quote in real time. What's at stake? League position and title aspirations. At the top level, every dropped point or disrupted match rhythm matters. Arsenal's competitors, Manchester City, Liverpool, Tottenham, will not stand still. How the Gunners navigate this injury patch may define whether they mount a serious title challenge or quietly slip behind. Champions League ambitions. European recovery and progression demand squad depth. Arteta's rotation choices will be put to the test against sides that exploit fatigue and small margins. The stronger Arsenal's bench proves to be, the better their chance of going far. Player futures and contract negotiations. At the individual level, performances during adversity often shape careers. Young talent stepping up may force new conversations. Fringe or recovering senior players may find their contracts or roles reassessed. And long-term injuries could shift planning at transfer windows. Fan trust and club identity. With Arsenal branding itself as a progressive, attacking side under Arteta, fans expect courage, fluidity, and commitment even in adverse conditions. How the team responds, whether with resilience or conservative setups, can influence trust in the coach and club direction.